You know that feeling when you walk into a luxury car dealership? That gleam of the chrome, the polished floors, that smell of new leather? It all just screams success, right? Legitimacy. But what if I told you that behind that shiny facade, some of these places are actually high-performance engines for organized crime? Yeah, so let's get into it.
So why? Why is a car dealership, of all places, a criminal's best friend? Well, to get it, you've got to understand the one big problem that every single successful criminal enterprise has to deal with.
And that problem is cash. We're talking huge amounts of physical cash from things like, drug trafficking. I mean, you can't just stroll into a bank and drop a duffel bag full of $100 bills on the counter without setting off every alarm in the building. So they have to find a way to make that dirty money look clean. They gotta launder it.
And this is where the real trick comes in. Criminals are always on the lookout for businesses where big cash deals are totally normal, even expected. Think restaurants, laundromats, or, you guessed it, car dealerships. These businesses give them the perfect cover to mix all that illegal cash in with their legitimate earnings, and suddenly, it's almost impossible to tell where the dirty money ends and the clean money begins.
And that, my friends, is where the vehicle sales industry comes in. It's not just a good cover. For a bunch of reasons, it's pretty much the perfect one. The products are expensive, the transactions are big. It's just a prime environment for financial crime.
And check this out. It's not just about those flashy sports cars you see in the movies. This whole principle works for a whole range of high-ticket items. We're talking trucks, motorcycles, private planes, yeah, even boats and ships. Basically, anything that costs a lot of money and can be bought and sold is an opportunity.
But for all the complex planning these criminal outfits do, the actual crime at the heart of it, it's ridiculously simple. It really just boils down to using a ton of physical cash to buy something valuable and then making damn sure that cash transaction never, ever gets reported to the authorities.
So how do they actually pull it off? Well, over the years, criminals have basically written a playbook, a set of repeatable schemes designed to beat the system. Let's break down a couple of their greatest hits.
Okay, first up, and this is super common, is something called structuring. See, in the US, any cash transaction over 10 grand gets automatically flagged and reported by the bank. So what do? Simple. Instead of making one big $30,000 payment, a criminal might make, say, 4 separate payments of $7,500. Each one of those is small enough to fly under the radar, so the total amount just slips right through the cracks. Sneaky, right?
All right, now for a really slick move, the down trading scheme. This is brilliant, seriously. Listen to this. A drug dealer walks into a dealership that's in on the whole thing, and he trades in a $37,000 Porsche that he probably bought with dirty cash. But he doesn't trade up. He trades down to something like a $17,000 Ford Bronco. The dealership then writes him a check for the $20,000 difference. And bam! Just like that, that dirty, untraceable drug money has been transformed into a perfectly legitimate, totally bankable check from a business.
And the thing that makes this whole con work, the final piece of the puzzle, it's the paperwork. To make sure none of this can ever be traced back to them, criminals rely on fraudulent invoices. A crooked dealer just whips up some fake documents with fake names, fake buyer info, effectively erasing the criminal from the paper trail completely.
Now, this might all sound like something straight out of a movie, but this stuff happens for real, and the consequences are massive. So let's look at an actual case and see how this exact playbook was used to launder millions and millions of dollars in drug money.
And this wasn't some quick smash and grab job. I mean, look at this timeline. This whole conspiracy was running for at least 4 years, from 2013 until it was finally busted in 2017. It just goes to show you how long these schemes can operate right under our noses before they get exposed.
So, let's meet the guy at the center of it all. John D. Leontaridis. He was the owner of Vanderhall Exotics of Houston, but he wasn't just some car salesman. No, he was a key financial player for a massive drug trafficking network bringing meth in from Mexico. And how did he do it? He used his dealership to knowingly take huge cash payments from drug dealers and then covered it all up with, you guessed it, those fake invoices we were just talking about.
So just how big was this operation? Are we talking about a few bad deals here and there? Not even close. Before his whole world came crashing down, Leontaridis successfully washed millions of dollars in drug profits through his little luxury car dealership. Millions! All scrubbed clean through the sale of high-end cars.
And for doing all that, for being the financial engine for this whole network, Well, in May of 2019, a federal court brought the hammer down. John Leon Tardis was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. 20 years. That sentence shows just how critical his role was in keeping this whole criminal enterprise running.
Wow. So that's a lot to take in, I know. But this whole case, it gives us some really clear takeaways about how this dark little world operates. Let's kind of boil it all down. Okay, first off, any business that deals with a lot of cash is always going to be a huge target. Second, sometimes the simplest tricks, like a fake piece of paper, can be the most powerful weapons for committing these huge financial crimes. And finally, that need to turn dirty money into something clean and spendable, it very often leads right to the showroom floor. At the end of the day, it's simple. Where you find big money, you're going to find big crime.